You're talking about not being able to picture Tom 5 years old. Can you picture him with a tan?
I mean, it can be in Vegas, Boston, whatever.
No, that's a little hard to see as well.
Poker.
Right.
I've just
Poker
played
power.
so much lately.
And it is a lot of poker players. You think about the lifestyle; they're just traveling around all the time.
60 hours a week or something.
But when the games are on, they just play all the time. Tom's,
not
you know,
anywhere near normal for me.
That's like, that's proper, dude.
Yeah. It's like I'm on iBanking.
Yeah. That's like real stuff.
big card for Sammy here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a nice call. It's a little bit different than what he usually does, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and now he's river to flush. I wonder how this will play out. I would expect to see Tom bet again for value, thinking Sammy has specifically a queen.
13,000.
And now I'm almost certain Sammy will raise. And I don't think Tom will pay it off.
So it's a bet with the intention of reevaluating if you get raised.
Yeah.
Raised 42,000.
Go on, show me. I'll show you. Go on. Let me
Show yours.
Can you show me yours? All right. Okay, go on. You do it first.
Not the easiest fold in the world, but you and Tom both made it look kind of easy.
Well,
No?
I think it was easier to predict that that was what
X
Tom was going to do
means
than I would have found it to make the same fold. He's just very consistently been proceeding on the assumption that Sammy's not going to bluff him.
Sammy making a comeback of late. Stack's not far from even.
However, $750,000 of the $1 million in play were originally Sammy's, so although the stacks are now nearly even, Sammy is down almost $300,000.
What do you mean? No, you lost.
Back at the Full Tilt Poker Durrrr $1 Million Challenge.
I'm talking about shoots.
I lost 55,000 in shoot.
To me and Roland.
Raise up to 3,000.
Jesus.
They're arguing that
I want to go that
Tom
far.
doesn't even know what game he's playing sometimes when we're gambling.
That's a lot.
The three of them, Sammy George,
No,
Tom
I
Dwan,
like, never really remember.
Roland DeWolf, sort of been
They
running
asked me when was
around
the first time I
town.
won $1 million.
Football
And I
games,
remember
bowling matches,
it
they
was in,
gamble
like,
and
March
everything.
before spring
Yeah,
break, and it took
I
me
think they were just talking about
so long to
playing
remember.
rock, paper,
Pretty sure it was
scissors.
3.5 years ago, but it could have been 2.5. I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
I thought it was 1.5
Roland
at
says he's
first.
the best in the world at it.
I just
Yeah,
had the
he's
worst
offered
memory
me
of it.
odds on rock, paper, scissors for 1,000 to throw before. Laid 11 to my 10.
5,000.
5,000.
You gotta take that, right?
Oh yeah, I did.
You know, I'm a really nice guy. You're really behind. Unless you got hearts, then cool, but...
That's an odd thing for Sammy to say.
Yeah, it is.
That's what
Seems
Tom's
to get him
thinking.
the call.
Yeah.
I told you. Come on, man.
2 pairs.
Tom's like,
Well, you thought your aim was good?
it's money. How can I fold?
You had a queen?
I did.
Buddy!
I'm a really nice guy. You're really behind.
I told you I'm really not... Because I rivered you, isn't it? I said, you're behind.
Yeah, but you shouldn't say stuff like that.
I know.
Unless you at least say it and are lying sometimes.
Look, on that board, there was nothing going to happen. Let's move on to the next one.
You know, it's not just that Sammy's won about 120,000 back, I think, of the money he was down, but it's perked up his confidence, clearly.
All right, cool. Roland's starting to do the impression of you now every time. My blame. Hi, cool. And he puts the chip up.
Raise up to 3,000. Fold.
And there is the 7 deuce.
Earlier they agreed to play the 7 deuce game, which is sort of a side bet that players sometimes agree to in a live cash game, where if any player wins a pot with 7 deuce, the worst hand in Hold'em, the other player or all of the other players at the table pay them some bounty, in this case $10,000.
You know, it feels like we've seen that hand about 5-6 times already in this match. I mean, they've only played about, I don't know how often you're supposed to see it, but we've seen it more than aces, for instance.
Well, it's an unpaired hand, so there's 16 combinations of that compared to 6 combinations of a paired hand. And I'd say we've seen it about as often as we've seen ace-king or jack-10 or something like that.
Yeah,
Raise up to
tilted,
3,000.
yeah, that's
Raise up to
true.
11,000.
Always forget about that.
Call.
You just always notice it now that they're playing the seven deuce game. I'm guessing Durrrr must 3-bet just about as many times as he calls or more from the big blind.
Well, we've certainly been seeing more big pots where Durrrr is 3-bet, but if you look at the statistics page, he's 3-betting less than 10%, and he can't possibly be playing fewer than 20% of his hands out of the big blind. So, earlier in the match, I definitely would have agreed with it. Toward the beginning, he was 3-betting quite a bit.
You did.
Right.
But as the stacks have gotten deeper, I think Tom has been more reluctant to build big pots out of position.
Yeah, it's true.
Raise up to 6,000.
Tom opens to 6,000 here, double the raise he's been making from the button previously, with 7 deuce.
That's highly unusual.
Man, I had your 7 again. I wanted to just take it down.
You don't have to do
Tom
7.
announces his hand, and Sammy doesn't believe him.
You don't have to do 7.
It's funny, I mean, what would you make it 6x with? Obviously, he's trying to take the...
Either 7 deuce or a very strong hand trying to look like 7 deuce, I think.
10,000.
How much?
He's bet nearly the size of the pot, and Sammy calls here. Tom should pretty much be done with this at this stage, right? I mean...
Well, it's hard to say.
Raise.
Oh, Sammy has raised
Raise
it
up
here.
to 27.
A little check raise to only 27,000. You can really see how that big bet pre-flop compounds on itself to build a gigantic pot. The pot had only been 6 going into the flop. Maybe Tom bets 5 and Sammy raises to 15, but now we're building a huge pot here.
Feels like kind of an optimistic call. I mean, that deuce of hearts, you know, the heart will come and Tom could be in big trouble.
Be behind. I wonder if he's reading something into that raise size by Sammy. It reminds me a little bit of the Queen-Jack hand, where Sammy had Queen-Jack and Tom had 7-5 on Queen-6-3, and Sammy made a little check raise, and then Tom ended up bluffing him out of the pot. I wonder if something similar might be going on here, if Tom thinks Sammy has made that check raise with a medium-strength hand that he might not be willing to get all his chips in with.
That's a big bet.
It is.
48,000.
That's
48.
that's a crazy bet. I mean, like, Durrrr could... He must think he's drawing dead right now, Durrrr.
He probably thinks he's got a shot at the heart being live, but a whole lot of the time, yeah, he'll be drawing dead to a small or medium flush or something like top or second pair with a big heart.
Time to give up.
He's come this far. It's got to be tempting to try to win that 162,000 in the middle one way or another.
I mean, surely Sammy's checked the call here, and Durrrr knows it.
Sammy has a stronger hand than I think Tom would expect.
So you're thinking maybe he's got something like just a dry king of hearts and they can take him off it?
Or something like King Jack with the King of Hearts, King 10 with the King of Hearts for a gut shot as well.
Come on.
No!
Wow! That is a gigantic bet.
No way.
More than double the pot. What is Sammy going to do here? This is making things awfully tough on him.
You know, he's checked there. He's checked there to call instantly, hasn't he? And now...
That was the plan, but that plan goes out the window when your opponent bets over double the pot.
He doesn't have 479, but he's got a lot of chips.
About 360, I believe.
I think he's gone like white. Look at, you know, this is all fun and games way back when this started. This bet. This is serious. This is serious.
Yeah, I think the stakes might be getting to Sammy now. This is a big bet. Over $250,000.
What has he got to tell himself? What's going in his head? What do you say logically right now?
Just put the dollar amounts out of your mind. Think about the logic of the pot. What can Tom have here? Tom can have a lot of things here. He can have a flop set that's now filled up. He can have the flop nut flush. He could also have a bunch of different bluffs. He could have easily taken one off on the flop with the king of hearts or the queen of hearts. Turns out he took one off on the flop with the deuce of hearts to set up this bluff, but it's hard to picture Sammy expecting that. And you do have to think back to the $6,000 raise pre-flop, too. That really changes a lot about this hand. There's something weird going on right from the first bet here.
He's looking at him. You can stare at Durrrr all day long, and he's just going to have that same...
Sammy might be thinking Tom could have aces with that big raise pre-flop. It's down to the two black aces. Sammy's got the ace of diamonds in his hand, and the ace of hearts is on the board.
Would he have played aces like this?
Quite conceivably. There's no street where I think he definitely would have done something different.
I mean, I know Durrrr plays stakes like this all the time, but this is a big pot. This is a big bluff.
Yeah.
He's got to be scared that Sammy's going to call.
Yeah. Sammy looks like he's going to call. He looks like he's...
This is the pot to get him even.
Yeah. Sammy calls here, and he's ahead. Tom will have only about 120,000 left in front of him. Sammy will be up 130.
Just a moment.
Looks like Sammy might be getting ready to get rid of those cards.
Wow. Oh, you can't fold, Sammy.
There it goes. And Tom will table the 7-2 to collect an additional 10,000.
Ouch.
And he told him right at the outset of the hand, I have 7-2, I just wanted to pick up the blinds. Sammy said he didn't believe him. And he didn't. This pot will go down in the history of TV poker. This was just incredible.
There's an elephant in the room. It's the 7 deuce.
I thought you had a flush when you were thinking so long.
I have a flush, I call you instantly.
You can't call instantly.
Yeah, I can.
3 times the pot.
I thought you, know something, you made it 6,000, huh? Cool. Nice hand.
I mean, this hand's going to be talked about forever.
What an interesting hand, with the dynamic of the 7 deuce and an amazing bluff at the end by Tom Dwan. This is a very, very exciting hand, and showed just what a true talent Tom is at just gauging his opponent and finding ways to win pots you would think was almost impossible. I mean, he just didn't want to be out, the hand, and, you know, the board kind of got a bit ugly. I mean, Tom could have a 3. There are certain hands he could have now that he's losing to.
Do you think he got intimidated by the money, though?